That's too big.
It's too big for the trails?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Also, why are you camped in my driveway?
I had convinced Shaun from the story till now to take my wife and I for a trip in the beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Our goal was a disused fire tower at the top of a nearby mountain. I'd be in my large Tundra and Shaun would be driving his Bronco. We knew the trails would be rough and bumpy, so we aired our tires down. We also knew there'd probably be snow, but we were not prepared for how much work it would be, or how close to the edge we'd get.
On your left, bear cub right here.
Hey, little baby bear.
See it?
One thing we are finding is that the trail is a little bit tight for the Tundra, especially with some of these fallen trees. Thankfully, Shaun's in the lead. And of course, he's brought a chainsaw with him. So he's trimming it so that we'll fit through.
As we had climbed, we'd passed bigger and bigger patches of snow before we finally reached a large drift that we had to scout out. Crossing it, we found it to be really slippery.
I felt pretty hard.
Yeah, I can see where you went down.
At first I was thinking like, drive through here. But
Yeah.
then if I slide into here,
It's gonna be
suck,
tough.
right?
The first attempt, taking the safer high road, didn't work out, so Shaun followed the riskier line along the edge of the snowdrift. Things started out well, but about halfway across, the back tires started sliding towards the edge.
We may have to do a little shoveling to get through here.
So things didn't go exactly as planned going through the snow. It started off well. This was planned. I don't know, it doesn't look great from where I'm standing, but I've got the world's smallest shovel, so I've grabbed that. We're gonna dig it out up front a little bit and try Max Trex, because we think that's the best option from here.
Is that your shovel?
This is my shovel.
Oh my goodness. It's so small.
Hey, it's not the size.
Is that how you use it?
Yeah.
We got to work, shoveling out snow in front of the tires on either side of the Bronco using the world's smallest shovel and a couple of traction boards. In the end, all that work gained very little, and the Bronco was hanging off the edge even further. So we went back to shoveling and tried again, this time being very careful with the placement of the traction boards. We're almost there. We spent a few more minutes shoveling and made another attempt.
You dug in here, and I think you just started to pivot on your front tire there.
Well, it might be worth having a traction board on either side.
Yeah.
So that you can get up a bit higher. And then if you slide down, you'll slide down into the track at least, right?
Yeah. Let's try that.
On my attempt, I was able to follow Shaun's tracks, making things a lot easier, right up until I got past the traction boards. It was back to digging, but this time, with Shaun's Bronco in front, I had an idea.
Things didn't quite go as planned coming up here. The back end has started to slip down. So I think what we're gonna do is hook the winch up to the back of Shaun's truck up there, and that way I'm gonna use like a combination of me pulling and driving a little bit. So hopefully without spinning the tires, it doesn't cause me to slip down anymore. Plus we've got a couple of traction boards down. So go ahead and pull it out.
The winch really helped, and with one last shuffle of the traction boards, I was pretty much out. We had hit another patch of deep snow, and this time, rather than crawl our way across, we decided to try brute force, and it hadn't worked out well. Shaun was stuck, so much so that the winch was pulling the heavy Tundra forward instead of him backwards, even with a couple of logs as wheel chocks. We only managed to get him out after strapping the back of the Tundra to the tree behind us.
I wonder if I'd air down a little more if I could crawl it.
So he aired down to just under 10 psi and tried again, this time taking it slowly and carefully, avoiding the ruts he'd just left.
Pressure always wins in the snow.
Then it was our turn. I suggested my wife, Elizabeth, try the new crawl control on the Tundra, and I think that's why we didn't make it.
Stop.
We tried running the winch to the back of the Bronco, but in an attempt to stop from pulling it backwards, slipped into the big holes he'd left earlier. We'd need to back out with the help of the traction boards.
And try wiggling the wheels as you go. The front wheel, obviously the front wheel, you can't wiggle it backwards. Try like really turning them. Yes. That moved you. There you go.
Nice.
Keep moving. Alright, yes, stay in it. Yeah!
Woo!
That's good, E. That's good. Alright, we're going to try this one more time. This time we have air down to a little under 10 psi, which should help with getting traction over the snow. We're going to reshuffle and try and go a little further over into some fresh snow. And we've got some traction boards down. It'll stop us from falling into the holes that Shaun dug out earlier when he tried some brute force to get through. So hopefully this is it. If we don't make it through this time, I think we're just going to set up camp here on the end. And there is actually a fire ring there, but it's all covered in snow and it's not very nice.
Nice and slow. Coming onto the boards. Good, keep going. Yeah. Slow driver. Yeah, you're good. More driver. All right.
What an incredible spot to stop and camp. I think it was worth all the effort that we put into going through all that snow. I just can't stop looking around. I want to fly my drone more. I want to do like 5 time lapses. It's incredible. It is very cold, but apparently the fire tower here is open, so I'm hoping that we can cook dinner in here rather than out in the wind.
It's toasty in here.
It is.
It's just the wind chill out there. You got a guest book. You can look and see if there's any fires.
Yeah, I don't see any.
I just see some nice looking rigs out there. That's about it.
Yeah, I think we set the stove on here.
Yeah.
Cook some dinner.
Last night ended up being kind of windy and really cold, especially when I got up in the night and the wind was blowing really harsh. It was freezing. Still a really cool spot to camp though, you know, got these views all the way around, and actually one of the times I got up last night the sun was just rising over there and it was really, really cool. If you want to come up here yourself, this place is called the Cornwall Fire Tower, and there are actually tracks to get up here on Onyx Off-Road, and Onyx Off-Road are the sponsor of today's video.
The Onyx Off-Road app has over 500,000 miles of curated trails across the US and Canada, like the Cornwall Fire Lookout Trail. Each one includes details on difficulty, route statistics, description, and pictures. It's a great tool for finding places to explore and trails that are suitable for what you're driving. The app is simple and easy to use. You have satellite, topo, or hybrid maps, and over the top are the marked trails. In the menu, you have the option to filter the trail type or add the wildfire and public lands overlays, both very useful information. If you're interested in checking out Onyx, I'll put a link to it in the description.
So now we need to get packed up and we've basically got to fight our way back through the snow, and if you do come up this way, we've cleared some tracks for you through it. We made it down off the trail to the fire tower, or the fire lookout, and so far the Tundra has not been too big. Now it was a little bit tight going through a couple of spots. I ended up scraping the wrap with some branches. It's held up just fine, but the Bronco just went straight through. But now we're going to go, well, first of all we're going to air up a little bit because we're at like 8 to 10 psi and it's just a little bit low for the roads that we're going to be on for the next little while. But apparently the next trail gets a little tighter, so the Tundra might still be too big.
keep going out the road that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's another way out to the highway,
Okay.
and there's also some roads that can be explored and stuff. But they lock the gate now and don't let people pass through. So
That's
we
a
came through
shame.
here last year, but
Yeah.
The trail we had found led over the mountain and eventually back down to the highway. From there, we went south, back up into the mountains, heading for camp. Just before we reached the campsite for the night, things started to get more overgrown and a lot narrower.
We just got set up at camp. We're overlooking the lake here. Weather is wonderful, bugs mild, and Shaun's setting up something I'm pretty excited to see. It is Starlink. Is it Starlink RV?
it's exactly the
Same thing? Yeah, just you pay a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I just enabled the roaming on it. That's all I did.
Yeah, that's something we actually just ordered ours so that we can work while we're out traveling. It arrived about a week ago, but unfortunately it's at home, and we're obviously out here, so it's not much good to us, but I'm looking forward to seeing how well it does. So he just walked down the slope and set up the satellite receiver down there, so it's got a clear view of the sky, even though we're under the trees. Here it goes.
Later that evening, Teddy from Unwinding Roads and Mike from the Unexpected Off-Road showed up to join us at camp. They brought with them something for me to try.
You gotta put your Canadian hat on.
Put my hat on.
You can't have a Canadian...
Am I allowed to put it on before I try this?
Yeah, you have to put it on before you,
Oh, okay.
you have the cocktail.
You gotta tell me what's in this first.
Okay.
Or do I have to, read the instructions?
A little bit. Read the instructions? You mean the ingredients?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Okay, so it's clamato juice, which is clam juice and tomato juice mixed together, and then Worcester sauce, black pepper.
Hold on. Can we rewind a bit?
Okay.
The tomato and
Clam.
clam juice, like from...
Like a clam. That's why it's called clamato, clam and tomato, right?
That's disgusting. That sounds
No, you're
disgusting.
wrong. You're wrong. You're insulting my culture.
Sorry. What a weird combination of things. And this is normal here in Canada?
This is my favorite drink. A toast to Rob coming to Canada.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's not horrible.
That's what I like to hear.
Not terrible.
That's what we like to hear. It's not horrible.
It's not horrible.
All right, let's sing the Canadian national anthem.
It's whatever the liquid version of edible is.
Drinkable?
Drinkable. That's
Drinkable.
the one.
It's drinkable.
I'm struggling with words tonight.
Without anyone noticing, I quietly put it down on the tailgate and started dinner. We spent the rest of the evening chatting and staying warm around the fire. On our last morning, we packed up, said goodbye to new friends, and headed back down the trail.
Well, that is it for our weekend. We're just airing up. We've got about 4.5 hours back to the US border. We've got to cross tonight to make it to our next event. But it has been a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much to Shaun for showing us around. Make sure you go check out his channel, subscribe to that if you're not already. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate a subscription. About 11-12% of viewers are actually subscribed, and I really want to make it to 100,000 subscribers. So click that subscribe button. And then to answer the question about the truck, is it too big? I don't think so. What do you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah. We obviously, Shaun picked trails that specifically fit the truck, so it was still a little bit tight. There are trails out there that are going to be too small for it, but you just don't do those trails. There's going to be trails too small for the Bronco. You could do trails that are too small for an ATV that only a dirt bike would fit on. But you know, it's a great truck. It did the job this weekend.
It's also very blue.
It is very blue. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video and subscribe.